Look in on the updated National League Central standings and tell you just how big a series this is, not only for the Reds but for the Cubs. For this reason, they're 9.5 out. You got to win at least 2, ideally 3 or 4 in this series. But, Bob, if it goes the other way, the Cubs could be double digits out of first place.
Boy, and you really hate to think in that direction, Len. I think the approach the Cubs have to take not only in this series but in every series from this day forward is to win one game. Win one game. Then come back the next day and try to do it again. Don't get too far ahead of yourselves.
All right, let's look at the one positive from the last month or so. The Cubs are pitching very, very well. In fact, the starters and the relievers not getting a lot of support. We know about that. But the bullpen in particular, Bob, I think has gelled pretty well.
It really has. I mean, a lot of people criticize bringing back Bob Howry, but he has pushed guys into roles where they've had an opportunity to succeed. It's given Lou what he needs down there, and Bob Howry, with his veteran presence, has actually pitched very well since coming back to the Cubs.
No earned runs allowed yesterday, 2 unearned runs for the Pirates in the 8th inning, and this was by far the play of the game, the Aramis Ramirez error in that 8th inning.
Yeah, just a lack of focus once again. A ball hit to his left. He got to it in real good shape, got a glove on it, but as he spun to throw to first base, just got a little lazy, getting the ball from the glove to the bare hand. It dropped, and we know what happened after that.
So you look at the team leaders in unearned runs. What do they have in common? They all have losing records. Look at the Reds. 11 unearned runs, fewest in the majors.
Well, needless to say, it puts so much pressure on your pitching staff to get that 4th and 5th out in an inning, and when you give big league teams opportunities to get 4 or 5 outs in an inning, they're going to make you pay.
We're going to hear from the newest member of this bullpen, Brian Schlitter, who grew up rooting for the Cubs in Park Ridge, and he's standing by with our Luke Stuckmeyer.
All right, thanks, Len. Brian, a couple years ago, the Cubs make this trade. Scott Air goes to the Phillies, and a player comes back. Turns out to be you. What's going through your mind being a local kid when you find out, you know what, I'm going to the Cubs organization?
You know, it was crazy growing up watching the Cubs. You know, getting familiar with Wrigley and all the players, and then all of a sudden one day I get traded, and it's to my home team. So it was a great feeling.
So what's your reaction when the manager calls you in and tells you, I'm going to the Cubs? Are your teammates thinking you're in trouble? Or, you know, usually going to the manager's office isn't a good thing.
Yeah, no, he called me in there, and my first thought was, all right, I did something wrong, or maybe I'm getting moved up to AA. And called me in, and he's like, we made a move. I was like, all right. And he's like, we traded you. I was like, really? It's like, to who? And he's like, the Cubs. I was like, you know, it was a great feeling getting traded, first of all, but then getting traded to the team that I grew up watching.
Tell me who your favorite Cub was growing up. I'm going to guess as a pitcher, maybe it's Kerry Wood or Greg Maddux.
Yeah, I mean, I had pretty much everyone on the Cubs was my favorite player. I enjoyed coming to the park and watching, and you know, just taking in everything, and you know, eventually trying to do that myself as a little kid on the field. So
you went to Maine South,
yeah.
But you're not the only major leaguer from Maine South. That's a pretty small school to have a couple of major leaguers rolling around right now.
Yeah, this is a lot for Maine South baseball program, even though Maine South is known for its football, but I mean, they get a good amount of people that go to college, but I guess the baseball program's the one that can say that they've sent guys post-college into, you know, their pro careers, so it says a great deal about it.
Tell us about your path once you leave Maine South, because it's not an easy path to get to the major leagues, and you had a lot of stops along the way.
Yeah, I mean, for any minor league baseball player, it's a long road to get here, and you pretty much just have to keep your head up and, you know, have hope.
Can you tell me what the minor leagues was like? I mean, it's certainly not like the major leagues where you're flying around in private planes.
It's a lot of long bus rides, early morning flights, especially in AAA. It definitely wears on you, so you got to be prepared for the long haul.
So you get the first game, you're coming here on Monday, you get into a game. Tell me what that's like. I know you had to have family and friends here.
Yeah, I had my whole family was here, and then friends from high school, grade school, my hometown. They were here, you know, just in case I got in, and I happened to get in the game, and it was a great feeling.
That first punch out?
Yeah, you know, I wasn't expecting a strikeout. I was just, going in there trying to get an out.
Did you get the ball afterwards or not?
Yeah, I got the ball, gave it to my mom, and then back to the house.
Yesterday you come in the game, 2 shutout innings. Just how much more comfortable have you become now that you've been here a few days and been on the mound?
I'm trying to keep myself relaxed and calm, and just tell myself it's still the same game, just in front of a lot more people.
Do you kind of have to pinch yourself? I mean, look at the day we have today. It's a beautiful day, and you're pulling up to Wrigley Field to go to work.
Yeah, it still hasn't really sunk in yet, but eventually it will, and it'll start to just become another day.
Is there somebody you can lean on this team that maybe can help you along and show you what to expect?
Well, there's a lot of young guys here, so it's not like I'm alone and I don't really have anyone to talk to. But and even the veterans are all friendly. They're easy to talk to, so it's a great clubhouse, and they make you feel welcome.
Do you have a fan club yet or not?
Just family and friends.
All right, final question. You're a Chicago guy. You're a Cubs fan growing up. Now you are a Cub. Where's LeBron James going?
I wouldn't mind seeing him come here, but something tells me that he'll stay in Cleveland.
We're hoping we've got LeBron James and Brian Schlitter both in Chicago at the end of this season. All right, we'll send it back up to you, Len.
All right, Luke, thanks very much. As we continue on our pregame coverage, just a few moments away from the first pitch, the Reds and the Cubs from Wrigley Field. We'll be back. First time this season. Again, they're a half game up on St. Louis. The Cubs come in fourth in the NL Central. Just went 1-2 against the Pirates and just finished very disappointing month of June. Bob, the Cubs were 6 games under 500. We're going to compare May to June, and unfortunately, month to month, the trend hasn't been good.
Yeah, we're trending in the wrong direction. The numbers went down from April to May. They went down even further from May to June, even though the pitching was much better. Once again, the finger gets pointed directly at the offense. They've got to start hitting. They've got to start hitting with runners in scoring position.
Interesting pitching matchup today. Carlos Silva, 4-0 with a 169 against the NL Central, and that includes 1 win against the Cincinnati Reds. And you did a lot of homework on this lefty. Travis Wood making his major league debut, a bit of an unknown.
Yeah, not easy to find information. He's got a cut fastball, a backdoor breaking ball that'll throw to the righties. He has a good straight changeup, which has been problematic for the Cubs offense the last few times they faced left-handed changeup pitchers.
So Silva for the Cubs, Wood for the Reds in his debut, and we'll have Cubs baseball coming up from Wrigley Field here on Comcast Sportsnet. Well, the busiest intersection in Chicago on game day here on the north side is, of course, Clark and Addison. And we're set for Chicago Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. Nice day for Cubs baseball. Wind blowing in. The first place Cincinnati Reds are here for the first of a 4-game weekend series. Hi again, everyone. Along with Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. These two teams have met up twice previously, both times in Cincinnati, and the Reds won both series. They're probably playing their best baseball of the year, and why? Because they hit.
Boy, do they ever hit. They can hit home runs. They can manufacture runs. They have good speed at the top and the bottom of the order. They have great power in the middle of the order. You see where they rank in the National League among those offensive categories, near the top in everything.
One of the best trades over the last couple of years was a trade that was pretty widely panned, and that was Scott Rowland coming over from the Toronto Blue Jays at the trade deadline last year. Well, it's worked out this year for sure.
You know, I think they would have been content for Scott Rowland to come over and be an okay player, but provide the leadership they were looking for on the field and in the clubhouse. He has exceeded every expectation that they had for him. He has been a real producing offensive player in the middle of that lineup.
So the pitching matchup today, it'll be Travis Wood, a left-hander, making his major league debut, and Carlos Silva will go for the Cubs. Let's send it down to the field for our national anthem.
As he honors the United States by performing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
So the Reds come to town leading the NL Central. The Cubs try to get it going here at home after starting this homestand at 1-2. Dusty and the Reds against Lou and the Cubs coming up.
Your Chicago area Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Member owned means our reason for being is your well-being. Experience wellness everywhere. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Southwest Airlines. Visit southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on.
Welcome back to the friendly confines. As the Cubs play their final home series of the first half, the Reds, this is a big test for them. This is the start of an 11-game road trip. 4 here, then they'll go off to Philadelphia and New York next week. before the All-Star break. So Dusty Baker back here at Wrigley Field managing a first-place club. See home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg. Let's look in on the Reds Southwest starting lineup. Again, they're leading the league in runs. Brandon Phillips in the leadoff spot. Orlando Cabrera at short. Votto, Roland, Gomes been really good in RBI spots. Jay Bruce with the game-winning homer yesterday off Roy Halladay. Drew Stubbs hitting 7th. Corky Miller is 8th, and Travis Wood making his debut hitting 9th.
Take a look at the Cubs defensively today. Soriano in left, Bird in center, Tyler Coleman over in right field. We have Ramirez and Castro on the left side of the infield. Jeff Baker at second base, Derek Lee at first base. Giovanni Soto doing the catching today for right-hander Carlos Silva. His first start of the season came against the Cincinnati Reds back on April 9th. He was really good. 6 innings of 3-hit, 1-run baseball. Took a no decision in that game. He faced the Reds again later. Probably his worst outing of the year, and he got a win. Pitched 5 innings, gave up 10 hits and 4 runs, but the club scored 14 runs. What? That's right, the Cubs scored 14 runs against the Reds back on May 7th.
It was in a more hitter-friendly environment in Cincinnati. Kellogg, a Michigan native, will handle the balls and strikes. Mark Carlson is from Joliet, Illinois at first. Larry Vanover and Angel Campos. Kellogg is the crew chief.
Now, after Mark Grant, the fine broadcaster for the San Diego Padres, Mark Carlson is probably the second most famous person from Joliet, at least that we know.
So here's Brandon Phillips. Shows bunt, takes a strike. Might be off to the All-Star game. 9-game hitting streak. 16 hits during this span. And he leads the National League in runs with 60. He's going to ground out to Aramis to start the game. It brings up Orlando Cabrera. Dusty made a little lineup tweak, and it really has worked out. That included moving Drew Stubbs down to the 7th spot in the order.
And Phillips and Cabrera, the 1-2 hitters today, he's kind of flip-flopped them depending on who's hot and who's not.
Into the hole at short. Castro picks it up and gets Cabrera by several steps. Nicely done. 2 down.
Good sign early for Carlos Silva. If you see a lot of ground balls off the Reds' bats, that means that sinker is working down low in the strike zone. 2 batters, 2 ground balls.
Now Cub killer Joey Votto, who has reached base in 38 consecutive games. Second in the league with a .413 on base percentage. And you have to go back to the 44-game hitting streak by Pete Rose. He reached safely in 48 straight back in 1978. That was the previous longest streak in Reds history before Votto this season. And by the way, has 18 home runs.
Oh yeah, by the way. And he will steal a base if you don't pay attention to him when he gets on. He's been successful 7 times out of 11 attempts.
Two and 1 the count on the Reds' first baseman. He's done a lot of damage here. And knocks a base hit into center to keep the first inning alive for Scott Rowland. Check in on the weather. Just ideal, 69 degrees. The wind is blowing in out of the east at 10. And a beautiful forecast. I think it's going to heat up just a little bit every day the rest of the weekend, which means I'm sure the wind will shift. Start seeing 80 degrees plus here on the north side. The wind is not coming in off the lake, but it has the last few days. Since Scott Rowland was acquired from the Blue Jays last year, the Reds are 66-39 when he starts. High fly ball. Marlon Byrd back on it. Onto the warning track. He's going to leap. He pulled it out of the vines. No, he didn't. He's going to have to pick it up. Rowland on his way to third. He'll get in safely as Votto scores. Marlon Byrd almost made a leaping catch, which is very difficult to do in this ballpark with the overhang. Just couldn't get it. And Scott Rowland has a 2-out RBI triple.
A great effort by Marlon Byrd. The hanging changeup from Silva was absolutely clobbered by Scott Rowland. That ball hit right at the base of the basket, the top of the ivy. Great effort by Marlon Byrd, smashing into the wall there, trying to make the play, but you can see the ball drop down behind him. Scott Rowland, to his credit, never stopped running, ended up at third base.
Fouled back by Johnny Gomes. Bob, that is a play that you very rarely can practice in this ballpark. Normally a ball that's going to be over an outfielder's head up against the wall is going to be into the basket.
Right.
Gomes bounces just wide of third. It's foul. Another reason why the Reds have been so good. They have been deadly with runners in scoring position, hitting .289 coming in, leading the majors. Bench has been productive. Called strike 3. 7 pinch hit blasts. They get one off Silva. The Cubs are coming up against lefty Travis Wood, who will pitch for the first time in the majors. Last 4 series, including yesterday against the Pirates. Colvin, Baker, Lee, Ramirez, Byrd, Soriano, and then Soto, Castro, and Silva.
Take a look at the Reds' defense. Johnny Gomes, a much improved defender with regular playing time. He'll be out in left field. Drew Stubbs in center. Jay Bruce over in right field. Scott Rowland and Orlando Cabrera on the left side of the infield. Brandon Phillips and Joey Votto on the right side. Corky Miller doing the catching today for left-hander Travis Wood. Going to look at his numbers at AAA Louisville this year. Apparently got off to a slow start, but has really come on strong in his last 7 starts at the AAA level. He'll tail a fastball. He'll cut his fastball. Good breaking pitch and a straight changeup.
Corky Miller caught the first pitch, which was a strike, and rolled it over into the Reds dugout for safekeeping as the 23-year-old Wood is making his big league debut. 5'11", 163. Two strikes on Tyler Colvin. Wood almost made their opening day roster. Came down to the last outing in spring training, and it was between Wood and Mike Leake. Wood had struggled with his command a little bit, so they picked Leake, who's been excellent. And here's Wood on the first day of July. A pop-up sending Cabrera out, Gomes in, and it'll be the shortstop who got a little help from the wind to make the catch. Cubs have faced a few guys making their major league debut over the last few years. Adam Ottavino gave up 4 earned runs, so it's been a mixed bag. Jeff Baker has been getting starts against lefties, not against righties. Against whom he has really struggled, but he's hitting .342 versus left-handers. He's in there for Ryan Theriot. Pop into short right. Jay Bruce underneath. Bob, I thought Todd Hollandsworth made an excellent point just before they tossed it to us here at the ballpark. He said you can't let Travis Wood go 1, 2, 3. It's the first time through the order. You know, the first 3 innings get nothing going because you give a kid who's got to be nervous instant confidence. You'd like to be able to jump on him early. But I guess it's easier said than done.
Well, there are other things you can do. You know, you can step out of the box a little bit. Anything to just try to make the youngster think out there on the mound a little bit.
Derek Lee high and deep to left. Gomes back on the track. And again, another ball that would have been a homer on a different day, although the rolling shot would have been 2. A 9-pitch first inning for the rookie. 1-0 Reds.
Younger will receive a limited edition Cubs American Girl doll-sized jersey and pants, compliments of Pepsi and Arby's.
Carlos Silva, 10 of 12 first inning pitches were strikes. 2 ended up being hits as he faces Jay Bruce. Big comeback for the Reds against Roy Halladay of the Phillies yesterday. Bruce hit the game-winning 2-run homer in the bottom of the 8th. That's very deep to right and is off the top of the wall. Bruce hustling towards second. Colvin's throw. Safe. Bruce just missed a home run. As it is, it's a leadoff double. He kept it low under the wind. And Colvin able to play that carom pretty well, but Bruce still got in.
That ball was smoked to right field. Colvin does play it really well off that wall. You're never quite sure how the ball is going to bounce out of the vines. A two-handed grab of the bag at second there as Jay Bruce tries to avoid a potential tag from Starlin Castro, and he's barely able to hang on by his fingertips.
Bruce Stubbs looks at a strike. May 7th, he was moved to the 7th spot, and he leads the National League with a .293 batting average from that position in the order. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Checked his swing, able to just get a piece of it. You go back to when the National League was divided into 3 divisions. 12 out of 16 times the team was leading the Central on July 1st won the division. Called strike 3. Big K for Silva. Well, he gets into the 8 and 9 spots. The Reds lead in the Centrals, only a half game currently, but they're hoping that that stat will play out. Cubs had a 3-game lead on July 1st of 08. They would win the division by 7.5. They were not in first the year before. Remember their big second half. And they came back as Corky Miller lines it foul.
It's Corky Miller? I thought that was Gorman Thomas.
Yeah.
The big Fu Manchu built a little bit like Gorman Thomas used to be.
He's up here backing up Ramon Hernandez with Ryan Hannigan on the DL with a broken thumb. Two and one the count with the pitcher Wood ready to make his first career plate appearance on deck. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Silva hasn't won in his last 3 starts, but he's still been good. 0-2 with a 3.32 over his last 3 outings. That was after 8 wins and no losses during his first 11 starts. That kicks up on Ramirez and no play. Not only does Miller reach, but Bruce able to advance to third as well. And they're calling it a hit. So an infield hit for Corky Miller.
From our Coors Light Robo Camp, Corky Miller turns on an inside pitch. It just ate up Ramirez down there at third base. He tried to go down to a knee and make a backhanded play. Ball climbed right up the heel of his glove, popped up in the air. Everybody's safe.
Now Wood, who might try to lay down a bunt. He did go 4 for 16 with 3 doubles with AAA Louisville. And the bunt here would be to move Miller to second. And then Bruce, the runner at third, can simply read it and decide whether or not he wants to try to score.
Now the runner at first plays it like a sacrifice bunt. The runner at third plays it like a safety squeeze.
You can simply follow Ramirez right down the line. And then if the bunt by Wood goes to Ramirez and he decides to throw it to another base, then That guy can try to go right to the plate.
Yeah, really an alert base runner. And I don't know that Jay Bruce is not an alert base runner, but as you said, you come down as far as the third baseman, and if Ramirez has to come in and field the ball, Bruce could just continue on down that third base line. No chance for Starlin Castro to get over there and cover the bag at third. So this is a dangerous situation here for the Cubs.
And that is all assuming that Wood can get down this bunt. Outside, 2-1.
And his job really in this particular situation is to bunt the ball to the first base side. Get Derek Lee to come in and make the play, because Ramirez is drawn in at third base.
I'll tell you, Corky Miller, Bob, has a very short lead at first. There's the bunt. It goes to Ramirez, who looks back the runner, and he barely gets Wood at first. Well, Ramos knew that Bruce was going to sneak in behind him. He took a look at him to keep him there, and he just got Wood for the second out.
Yeah, that's about as well as Ramos Ramirez could possibly handle that play. Exactly what we anticipated, that bunt. Ramirez comes in, and watch Jay Bruce come in right behind him. If Ramirez doesn't check him back, he probably comes right on in and tries to score on that throw to first base. That's about the best you could possibly do in that play. You don't want to run at him and allow the batter to reach first base, and the Cubs caught a major break down there at first base.
He beat it out, but the call went the Cubs' way. Mark Carlson made it. And now it's Brandon Phillips. Pat with that waggle, and he takes strike one. Phillips sitting on 99 hits on the year. Early on in this one, Scott Rowland with an RBI triple in the first inning. Cubs went down quietly. And now the Reds threatening again with 2 outs in the second. They talk about a put-away pitch here against Phillips. In some ways, you can be a little more daring here because you have first base open. The problem is you have a runner at third, so if Silva wants to bounce something up there, it's incumbent upon the catcher to get in front of it. And he went around, strike 3, and that's it for the Reds. They leave 2 in scoring position. They lead 1-0 after an inning and a half.
Hey, while we have a moment here, Len, congratulations to Illinois Wesleyan University Titans baseball team, the NCAA Division III national champions. Under the supervision of Dennis Martell, the head coach. Congratulations to them. Got off to a slow start this season, but got hot at the right time.
Congrats to them. That's the alma mater of former NBA great Jack Sikma.
Yes, indeed.
Ramirez hits it foul as we start the home half of the second. He's hit 5 straight, 2 hits yesterday, but the key error on defense in the 8th, leading to 2 unearned runs. Big swing, lost the bat, which makes you think that thumb might have been aggravated.
Now, this is a similar swing that we saw before Ramirez spent time on the shelf with that left thumb injury.
Called strike 3. He knew it.
When you have something that's bothering you physically as a player, especially as we say all the time, the violent swing that Ramirez takes, and you feel it as badly as he apparently did on the pitch before, it makes you a little hesitant to let that bat go on the next pitch. And that time he took a fastball right down the middle of the plate.
It's the 49th strikeout already for Ramirez, and the first career punch out for Travis Wood, outside corner and a strike. Just as an example, in 06, Ramirez played 157 games, hit 38 home runs. He struck out 63 times and almost 600 at bats. About a third of the at bats, he's already struck out 49 times.
I think that was the most surprising thing through his struggles early in the year. It's not unusual for a guy to be slow out of the gate coming out of spring training, especially when Ramos Ramirez missed the last 3 weeks of spring training, but the strikeouts were what I think caught everybody by surprise. He's always been a very good contact hitter.
One and 2 on Bird. The wide and the pitch. That's golfed out into left center. And it's going to hold up for Drew Stubbs. Alfonso Soriano hitless yesterday after a 2-homer night Tuesday against the Pirates. Scored just 4 runs in that 3-game series. Pirates scored 5 times and won 2 games. In on his hands, 1 ball, no strikes. Another day action, will keep you posted. 2 games in the American League. Cleveland beat Toronto 6-1, and the Yankees lead the Mariners 2-0 in the 7th. It's the 5th straight win for the Indians. There's a roller into left, and the Cubs have their first base hit. If you have Frank Herman on your fantasy team, he got a save today for Cleveland.
That involves some serious advanced scouting if you have Frank Herman on your fantasy team.
It does. Giovanni Soto, who was on the bench the last couple of days. Coy Hill getting the nod. Soto back in there, and he lines to center for out number 3. So through 2, it's 1-0 Cincinnati.
Everything Cubs. Catch Lou's post-game remarks after every game and get behind-the-scenes access with in-depth stories, insider blogs, and exclusive video. Visit csnchicago.com, your internet home for everything Cubs.
Orlando Cabrera retired on a nice play by Starlin Castro in the first inning. Takes strike one from Carlos Silva. Starlin will not make the play this time. Cabrera has a leadoff single. Easy to say because we know the numbers, and we've seen a lot of these Reds hitters before, but you can tell, Bob, this offense is locked in and pretty confident right now. They probably aren't going to miss too many mistakes.
We talked about the speed at the top and somewhat at the bottom of this Reds order, and the guy at first base, Orlando Cabrera, 10 out of 11 this season in stolen base attempts. Doesn't figure to run with Joey Votto at the plate. You see that big hole on the right side of the infield. I'm sure Dusty would like to leave that hole for Votto.
This is down the left field line. It's slicing. It lands foul. Hit a dramatic home run Tuesday against the Phillies. Tied the game with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. The Reds would lose it in extras, but that's the kind of team it's been. They've been a very good comeback team. And following up on the on-base streak with the first inning single, Votto now has reached in 39 in a row. He takes a call third. Didn't like the call by Jeff Kellogg. One away.
Votto, a guy that has a pretty good eye at the plate. You can see the high target. Man, I don't see many strikes called up at that level. Although technically it probably is in the rule book strike zone. Not a strike that most umpires call.
Scott Rowland with an RBI triple. Almost hit it out in left center.
And now with the right-handed hitting Rowland at the plate, 1 out in the inning, Cabrera will probably look to get a maximum lead over there at first base and try to steal a base if he thinks he can get a jump.
Rowland, a 5-time All-Star. Has 7 Gold Gloves. Was the Rookie of the Year in '97. Got a Silver Slugger Award in '02. Taking nothing away from either Rowland or Votto, but they do play half their games in a very hitter-friendly and power-friendly ballpark. I think it's safe to say the Rowland shot would have been a home run at Cincinnati. Diving stop, Castro. He doesn't have anywhere to go. And Rowland is 2 for 2.
And a good decision that time by Starlin Castro. It was a nice play to get to that ball in the hole with a dive, but as good as he's been out there at shortstop, that would have been an ill-advised throw. Just hang on to it. Don't throw that ball out into right field and allow Cabrera to advance on to third base.
Johnny Gomes bounces foul. Pretty good minor league pickup. Prior to 2009, signed a minor league contract. 2 on Gomes, who's dealt with a lot of personal adversity in his life. Survived a car accident in '97, which his best friend was killed. Johnny was a passenger. 2002 had a heart attack. Had to undergo an angioplasty to open a pinched artery. Spent some time in a homeless shelter as a teenager. He was raised by his mom. Swing and a miss. He plays the game like every day might be his last. So Silva with a big strikeout, 2 down.
Good straight changeup. You can see the bottom just fell out of that pitch. Arm angle is the same as his fastball. Arm speed is the same as his fastball, but because of the grip, the ball floats up there about 10 miles per hour slower with a lot of downward movement.
Of the 8 outs Silva has gotten, 5 have been strikeouts. One and one. But then we go back to how important are strikeouts. The Reds have struck out the 5th most times in the National League, but they lead the league in runs. It's because they hit for a lot of power. And they pick up a lot of base hits. Bird hustling in, and he'll get it on the move. So the Reds have stranded 5 through 3 innings. They lead the Cubs 1-0. Summer. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Call 1-800-THE-CUBS or visit the Wrigley Field box office. The Bulldogs are here.
I saw them during batting practice today. They were right down at field level getting some autographs, posing for pictures. Looking for Dave Turner.
Yeah, our director, Dave Bulldog Turner. Starlin Castro facing Wood for the first time. Wood making his debut against the Cubs. Castro made his debut against the Reds, and what a first game it was. May 7th in Cincinnati. First at bat, hit a 3-run homer. Later added a 3-run triple, 6 RBIs, a major league record for a major league debut. Youngest shortstop in Cubs history. He was 20 years, 44 days on May 7th. Inside, 3 balls and a strike. The pitcher Silva's on deck.
And so far, Travis Wood has shown pretty good command of all of his pitches. We're told that occasionally he will make mistakes with that cutter that he tries to throw inside to the right-handed hitters. He'll catch too much plate. That's the one the Cubs need to be prepared for.
Wood, born in Little Rock, Arkansas, and was the Reds minor league pitcher of the year last year. The Southern League, which is a Double-A league, most outstanding pitcher. And the Double-A starter of the year, according to MILB.com. Combined for a 177 earned run average at Double-A and Triple-A last season. Seventh Red to make his major league debut this season alone.
And I know the Reds aren't thinking this way, but boy, what a young nucleus of a pitching staff they're putting together over there in Cincinnati. A lot of guys in their early 20s that have either just gotten a taste of big league experience this year, or in the case of Homer Bailey, he's already made 46 starts. Johnny Cueto's made 77 starts, all under the age of 24.
First walk issued by Wood, and now Silva will try to get Castro into scoring position. Now Mike Leake, 22, has not even pitched in the minors. Four sacrifices for Silva. Pop foul, and that'll get back into the seats. You're going to foul a bunt. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, foul it to a fan. Get it off the field of play so nobody can retire Silva without advancing Castro. Foul it so badly nobody can make a play on it.
Slow curve at 72. Let's see if that changes the strategy here. Well, that lace is going to bother me all day.
Yeah, I
I
noticed that early on.
Not sure if that's how he likes it. There's the bunt. The tag applied, and Silva does lay down the successful sacrifice. Votto just could not take a chance that it was going to roll foul.
It looked like it might. We talk about this all the time. If a team is willing to give you an out, take the out. Now, if he lets this ball roll down the first baseline and it ends up staying fair, well, then you've got serious problems. But Votto picked it up, tagged Silva, and Castro moves into scoring position for the top of the order.
All one to Colvin.
Tyler Colvin's been seeing a lot more off-speed pitches recently, especially slow breaking balls. Right-handers throwing him those sliders in underneath his hands that break off the plate down and in. It's time for Tyler to make an adjustment. We know he can hit a fastball. Other teams around the National League are learning very quickly that Tyler Colvin can hit a fastball.
Colvin 0 for 10 on the homestand. A big game on the south side on Sunday. High fly ball. And pretty well hit, but again, just to the warning track. There Gomes hauls it in. 2 down.
Timing is everything in this game. The Reds talked to a number of their players down on the field before the game. They were all shocked to see the conditions here at Wrigley today. The warm temperatures, bright sunlight, but the wind blowing in. As you've said many times, normally when you get the warm temperatures, the wind is out of the south or the southwest and blows out.
Ball one on Jeff Baker.
Of course, if you stick around long enough this afternoon, it may turn around and end up blowing out before this ball game is over. You never know. Well, Tom Skilling knows. We never know.
Foul tip, 1-1. You know, it is easy to sit here and go, well, you know, the Cubs are getting unlucky. They're hitting all these balls. It would be home runs on a different sort of weather day, but this is their home park, number one. So they know the deal. And number two, a lot of times pitchers challenge guys because of the conditions. So the fly ball to the warning track, sometimes that is a desired result on behalf of the pitcher. Here, hit it.
That's way, way too early in his career to call Travis Wood a crafty pitcher out there on the mound, but any pitcher that steps on the mound here at Wrigley, it would behoove him to check those flags and pitch accordingly.
The Cubs should always have the advantage, regardless of the weather conditions, in their home yard. A couple of years ago they did, but has not been the case this season. Baker strikes out. Cubs strand a man in scoring position, and it's 1-0 Cincinnati after 3.
At 1 a.m. or later.
Carlos Silva back to work, bottom 3 for the Reds. Drew Stubbs takes ball 1 high. Reds have won 4 of the first 6 in this season series. All 6 previous games were in Cincinnati. Reds will be back here in early August, and the Cubs have one more trip to Cincy. High fly. Soriano back on the warning track. Time now for our AT&T trivia question. Can you name the 4 managers to lead the Reds to a World Series title? All right, I'll get 2 if you can get the other 2.
I'll get the same 2 you probably will get. Sparky Anderson and Lou Piniella.
That
the easy
we
ones.
know.
Yeah.
It's a little tougher after that. 5 world championships in all. Big Red Machine under Sparky in the 70s, and then Lou Piniella in 1990. 2 strikes on Corky. Corky was a director in one of our favorite movies, right? Waiting for Guffman.
The same guy?
Is that the name of the director of the play, Corky?
Yeah.
Christopher Guest's character.
Corky is his given name, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. I love that.
Yeah.
So Stormin Gorman. Nice job, Mark Stencil, finding that old baseball card as Miller flies out to Soriano. Wood will get a chance to swing the bat for the first time. He laid down a bunt in the second and almost beat it out. Showed some pretty good wheels.
And you can see Giovanni Soto alerting the infielders. This guy runs well. We saw that on that sac bunt. Actually beat it out at first base. The Cubs were the beneficiary of a missed call down there, but he can scoot. It's good to know if you're an infielder, you have to hurry that throw across the diamond.
Cubs trying to even up their home mark. They're 19-20 at Wrigley, and the Reds have been good on the road, a game over 500. Ramirez simply deflects it away from Castro, and Aramis has had a tough couple of days. That'll be a hit for Travis Wood. A well-placed ground ball.
About 4 steps to his left, just ticked off the webbing of the glove and deflected away from Starlin Castro, who was headed over toward the hole to possibly make a play. And Travis Wood with his first major league hit. Congratulations, don't do it again.
Brandon Phillips for the 3rd time. Two strikes on Phillips. You see, they score a lot more at home, which you would expect. But their ERA, about a half run better on the road. The thing is, Bob, and you know this, you don't have to be a great road team. If you're a great home team, you just be around 500. You can win 50 games at home and 40 games on the road. That's 90 wins right there.
The old cliche in the game of baseball was play 500 on the road, take 2 out of 3 at home, and if you look up at the end of the season, you'll be right where you want to be. If you happen to get on a nice road streak and can be better than 500, it makes it a little bit easier. But you really need to take care of business in your own ballpark.
I mean, the Mets are 6 games under on the road, but they're 28-12 at Citi Field. That's why they're right in the middle of it in the NL East. Full count, 3-2. Starting on May 16th, the Reds have spent 33 of the last 46 days in first or tied for first, and they've been in the top 2 every day since May 3rd. They've been jockeying for position with the Cardinals. Runner going on the 3-2. Blooped out into right center. Baker will make the running catch. Nicely done, like a wide receiver on a post pattern. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Still 1-0 Cincinnati. They manicure the infield. And then let's answer the AT&T trivia question. You name the 4 managers to lead the Reds to World Series titles. We got the most recent 2.
How about Fred Hutchinson?
We'll find out. Nope. Bill McKechnie at 40. Pat Moran at 19. 19 Sparky back-to-back titles. A big red machine. And there's Sweet Lou. In 1990, a big upset over the A's. That was a sweep.
Yeah. The heavily favored Oakland Athletics with the Bash brothers, Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco, and the Reds swept that series. I was living in Cincinnati at the time, and the city had a parade for the world champion Reds, and they led the parade with street sweepers. I thought that was a nice touch.
Fans enjoying themselves on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. They'd like to see the offense get going. They got shut out yesterday, and they've been blanked through 3 innings by a rookie making his first major league appearance.
Well, I know who would really like to see the Cubs offense get going. That's Bernice Alexander, lifelong Cubs fan. Her first ball game here at Wrigley Field was a ladies' day back in 1924.
Strike to Derek Lee. Eric Fly beat to the warning track and left his first time. A 7-game hitting streak come to an end yesterday. Got him on the outside corner for strike 3.
So Corky Miller sets up way off of the outside corner, but you can see he reaches back toward the plate, which ultimately is on the outside corner. I tell you, we were told this young man occasionally will have command problems. We've seen none of it through the early going.
A little bit outside to Ramirez. He took a called third right down the middle. His first time up. The pitch before that, he appeared to tweak that left thumb.
one of those cutters that stayed on the inside third of the plate. Those are the ones you're going to have to take advantage of. When he gets that cutter into the corner or further inside, it's a very tough pitch to handle.
.23-year-old southpaw coming back, and Ramirez swings and misses.
Back with another cutter, that one up above the belt on the inside part of the plate. Not sure if it was by design to go up the ladder, but got the desired result.
Ramos continues to flex that left hand. Bird high in the air to center. Not going to go today as Drew Stubbs pulls it down. A 9-pitch fourth for Wood. Still 1-zip Reds.
$53695. If you're the 500th texter, you could win $5 footlong subs from Subway.
Here we go in the fifth. Orlando Cabrera. Strike one from Carlos Silva. We should remind fans, Bob, just how much a strike thrower Carlos Silva is. Even on days in which he struggles, you know, his command is always pretty good. Now, there's a difference between strikes and quality strikes. But when you talk about a guy who just hits the mitt, I think Silva's as good as anybody in the game today at doing that. Derek Lee battling the sun and able to make the catch in foul ground.
Well, and obviously that's a huge asset for a pitcher to be able to throw the ball where you want, hit the catcher's mitt when he sets up on the corners. As you get a look at Cabrera popping up to Derek Lee in foul territory, looking right up into the sun to really stay with it there, but able to make the play. And the thing about Silva is his pitches they're very subtle. He doesn't have a Brandon Webb sinker where the bottom just falls out of it. It moves just enough to get it off of the barrel of the bat onto the bottom half of the baseball bat, which results in the ground balls. Some guys that are around the strike zone don't have the same kind of movement, and they get hit very hard. But because Silva does have that movement, even when the ball's put into play, it's usually not hit with authority.
He leads all active pitchers in walks per 9 innings at under 1.7. We've got Roy Halladay, Dan Herron, Mark Burley, Ben Sheets on that list, but Carlos Silva's right at the top. Greg Maddux in his career, Bob, was 1.8 walks per 9 innings. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Pretty impressive. Trying to think of some other Cubs in the past. John Lieber, 1.7 walks per 9. Always near the top of the leaderboard on that list.
I would guess that Rick Russell is somewhere in the vicinity.
Joey Votto with his second hit. He's trying to get to second base, and he's out. Trying to claim that he slid around the tag, but it looked like Baker got him. And that's what Larry Vanover is telling Joey Votto.
Well, the key to that play, Len, was how quickly Marlon Byrd got rid of the ball in left center field. So often you'll see the outfielder get to the ball, then take several steps to stop his momentum, get his shoulders lined up to the target, and then make the throw.
I think he might have come off. He might have gotten in originally with his right hand. Maybe not.
I think he was called for coming off with the left hand at the end of the play.
Yeah, you're right. Vanover was right on top of it.
Yeah, the real key I was saying is Marlon Byrd. He got to that ball and made an off-balance throw, but it was close enough to the bag, and he got rid of it quickly enough for Baker to get that tag down.
He makes it a quick inning. Wasn't technically 1-2-3, but that's how it played out. Still 1-0. We're halfway home from Wrigley. Cubs with only 1 hit through 4 against Travis Wood. Brad Lincoln yesterday in just his 5th major league start got the win, but I think overall, Bob, that this offense struggling against just about everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we've struggled against veteran pitchers, righties, lefties, power pitchers, finesse pitchers, and in the case today, a rookie pitcher.
Johnny Gomes hauls it in, and Soriano retired. 2 pitches.
I mean, most teams tend to struggle against pitchers they've never seen before, at least until the second or third time through. When you've got a better idea of his release point and what kind of movement does he have on his pitches, what does he like to throw in certain situations, you start to develop a little bit of a book.
Soto broke his bat as he grounds out to Cabrera. 3 pitches, 2 outs. Experience Cubs baseball from the private comfort of the Bud Light Batter's Eye in center field, offering a spectacular view and catered service for groups of 25 to 100. The Bud Light Batter's Eye is a great option for entertaining in Chicago, especially on summer weekends. It's also available for non-game day functions. To book your date or for more info, visit Cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-4200. Well, they got to make this kid work a little bit more than they have. It's a couple of quick pitch innings. And he's working on another one right here. 1-1. Getting an extra day after his last start, which was at AAA. Line shot right at Scott Rowland. 6 pitches in the 5th. Still 1-0. Chicago Tribune live on Comcast Sportsnet. Tribune writers, sports stars, and celebrities join host David Kaplan to discuss the day's hottest sports topics. Don't miss Chicago Tribune Live, presented by Harris Bank, tonight at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Here's Johnny Gomes leading off the Reds' 6th. The big swing and the miss. Strike one. 1-0 Cincinnati. First inning run. And that's been it. And a base hit into left center. So their leadoff man on for the 3rd time in 6 innings.
You know, Len, we were talking about Carlos Silva and his ability to hit his target and make his pitches. Soto sets up outside. He hits the outside corner with a comeback changeup right there. Same pitch again. Outside corner. I mean, catching a guy like Carlos Silva, even elevating pitches. That time a fastball up to Joey Votto. He got the call on a high strike. For a catcher, this is the closest thing to a day off. When you're calling pitches for a guy that's just consistently hitting your mid every time, it becomes a lot of fun for a catcher to call a game. You remember the advance report. You remember these hitters from when you played against them in the past. You know where their weaknesses are. You know where the holes in their swings are. And pretty much most of the time Silva's going to hit that target.
And the first couple here he has missed, and that's why it's 2-0 on Jay Bruce. Still 19 first pitch strikes out of 24 opportunities. We've seen that a lot, haven't we, today? Reds batters just being a little bit out in front.
It's that straight changeup. I mean, he'll throw it in any count. That was a 2-0 straight changeup to a left-handed hitter, and Bruce just jerked it foul down that first base line, allowing Silva to get back in the count here.
Carlos making a bid for the All-Star team. The NL All-Stars will be announced on Sunday. A high fly, Marlon Byrd going back, but plenty of room. Getting behind the ball. As Gomes was almost all the way to second, he's able to easily get back to first.
And once again, the communication among the Cubs outfielders this year has been tremendous. There have been very few incidents, but you see Marlon Byrd gets behind the ball. He's not assuming anything. And Tyler Colvin came over from his right field position, was watching Johnny Gomes, the runner at first, and letting Marlon know he's halfway. Just get the ball back into second base. Had Johnny Gomes gone back to tag up, Tyler Colvin would have let him know that. And Marlon would have got it back in as quickly as possible. Have to communicate. One guy has to keep his eye on the ball, the guy that's going to catch it. But the other outfielder can kind of be your scout. He can let you know what's going on in that infield.
Bruce Stubbs, a three-time All-American, two-time academic All-American at the University of Texas. Gomes runs. It was a hit and run. Stubbs fouled it off his toe.
Stubbs' toe?
Yes. Well, no, it just kind of happened that way, but that's where you could go with it.
And that's something you'll see a Dusty Baker team do a lot of. When there's a hitter at the plate and a runner on first base, and the hitter at the plate is struggling somewhat, and Stubbs has been struggling this year, Dusty will use the hit and run to eliminate any doubt in the hitter's mind. You are swinging at this pitch. He did it with Cabrera in the 2 spot. He did it when Brandon Phillips was hitting in the 2 spot. He used those guys to hit and run when they were struggling offensively, just to get them to swing the bat and, as I said, eliminate any doubt.
Dusty's in his 3rd year with the Reds. Took a year off in 07 after his tenure ended here in Chicago. Runner goes. It's low. The throw right on the money. So they get Johnny Gomes for the second out. Meanwhile, 3-2 on Stubbs.
And Gomes with a bad jump over there at first base, and Giovanni Soto throws it right on the money. Jeff Baker with a nice tag, straddling the bag there, just dropped the glove right down in front of the base. Gomes slid into the mitt.
Stubbs hit a game-winning grand slam on April 9th against the Cubs off a smiling car dot in the bottom of the 8th in Cincinnati. Right back to Silva. He didn't have to move his glove. Nicely done. So he gave up the leadoff single. No damage done on the big board. Last of the 6th. He's due to lead off, trailing
Text CHAMPS to BHawks. That's 242957 to join Blackhawks Mobile and be entered in to win a Stanley Cup Champion street banner autographed by members of the Blackhawks team. That's CHAMPS to 242957.
Carlos Silva takes ball one. Big rip. And he fouled it back. We were looking at the video replay of Luke Scott's home run last night for the Baltimore Orioles, during which he injured his hamstring rounding the bases on a home run trot. Looked like it took him about a minute to get around the bases. Just after he passed first, he came up lame. His left hamstring gave way.
He was able to kind of limp from the point he hurt it around to third base and then walked home from third.
That's no fun. Silva grounds out to Rowland.
Ruth Cameron here today from Kewanee, Illinois, celebrating her birthday with a bunch of friends. A whole busload of them from Kewanee came to the game today. Happy birthday to Terry and Carly Wisely from Decatur. Also, Karen, Alice, and John want to say hello to Albuquerque, New Mexico. A long way to see a Cubs game.
Jason Stark from ESPN.com reporting that a source saying Chase Utley's going to have surgery on his injured right thumb, so he would be out 5 to 6 weeks for the Phillies. Phillies will be here right after the All-Star break for a 4-game series. Placido Polanco also on the DL. The 0-1 to Colvin, fouled off into the upper deck.
Colvin gave it a ride. His last at bat drove a ball to deep left field, but Johnny Gomes able to make the play right in front of the ivy. There have been a number of balls hit in this game today that under different conditions would have sailed up into the bleachers, but all those deep fly balls dying on the warning track today.
The Cubs have now not scored over their last 16 innings. Starting to think Corky Miller likes his catcher's mitt just the way it is, because catchers are pretty particular about their glove. That long lace just hanging off the bottom the entire game.
I can't imagine a useful purpose that would serve. It's just
maybe he likes to chew on it in the dugout. Who knows?
A superstitious thing. I don't know.
It's just quirky.
Yeah. Corky's quirky.
So they have a Corky and a Porky. Juan Lopez, their bullpen coach, his nickname is Porky. Just missed. 3-2 on Colvin with Baker on deck. You see Porky? Got to ask about his son. Terrific young baseball player. He's got to be 14, 15 years old now.
He's playing high school ball now.
Yeah. Might be older than that, in fact. As Phillips has time even after the brief bobble. Watch Comcast Sportsnet Cubs game replays on demand with Xfinity TV from Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. Swing and a miss by Baker. Dustin Pedroia has a broken foot, so he took ground balls from his knees last night. Got to keep his arm in shape. Broke his left foot on a foul ball recently.
talking about Carlos Silva's command, and it has been really good in this game today, but the same could be said for the youngster on the mound for the Reds. Travis Wood has hit his spot with amazing regularity today.
Certainly acts like he's been here before. Scott Rowland throws out Jeff Baker. The Cubs limited to 1 hit and no runs through 6. It's 1-0 Cincinnati.
At 11:30 with Chevy Cubs pregame live. Cubs Reds Saturday at 11:30 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Slider strike on Corky Miller. As Bob said, his name is Corky Abraham Phillip. His mother wanted him to be C. Abraham Miller just in case he ran for president, which he can do in 2012. You got to think about these things. You never know when a kid's born whether he or she has a chance to run for president. I like the idea of our president being named Corky. There's something kind of fun about that. I'm guessing he's not going to run for president. But if he did, Mom would want it as C. Abraham, not Corky.
Corky Abraham Phillip Miller.
Down into the right field corner, and it's going to get out of play.
He's done a nice job. As you said, Ryan Hannigan on the disabled list had been the backup catcher to Ramon Hernandez here for the Reds, and Corky Miller filling that backup catcher's role admirably.
Back with his original organization. He was signed as an undrafted free agent by the Reds in '98. Chops it to Ramirez. I guess if you told Travis Wood yesterday you're going to get at least 3 plate appearances on Thursday, he would have gladly taken it. It's the at-bat in the 7th inning of his major league debut. We'll talk to Dusty if we get a chance about Mike Leake on Sunday as he faces Ted Lilly and what the Reds are going to do. And I think they gave him extra time off before his last start. But assuming the Reds are going to be in the pennant race the rest of the season, They do not want to push his innings too much, so they may have to give him a little extra rest. And with the All-Star break coming up, not a terrible time to do that. You can't just shut a guy down, and early September has been a big part of your rotation if you're in the race. I'm sure a lot of discussions have already gone on in the baseball department. Headed up by the GM, Walt Jocketty. I guess, Bob, ultimately it's a very good dilemma to have.
I mean, I'm sure they would prefer for Mike Leake to take all of his scheduled starts the rest of the way and have no problems physically or otherwise, but you've always got to be ready to use that pencil eraser on that pitching rotation and make changes as you see necessary.
Swing and a miss as Silva gets him on the payoff pitch. The one thing that could really help the Reds is Edinson Volquez coming back from a Tommy John surgery. Could be back just before or after the All-Star break. And we know how good he can be. Brandon Phillips 0 for 3 as he takes a strike. Ultimately, when it comes right down to it, if you have a chance to win the World Series, I think you tweak some of the rules. You get that close, you got to go for it.
Yep.
You know what? The Cubs did that in 03 with Pryor and Wood. Silva's done a nice job. Stretch time with Ron Santo.
All you wonderful Cub fans, let me hear you. We need it. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back for its root. Root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame for it. At the old ball game. Yeah, let's get some runs.
Presents the 3rd annual Road to Wrigley as the Peoria Chiefs take on the Kane County Cougars at Wrigley Field. Get ready for a day of fun with help from the famous chicken and enjoy $2 hot dogs, $3.50 Bud and Bud Lights in the bleachers. Order your tickets today at Cubs.com. Travis Wood here in the bottom of the 7th facing Derek Lee, Aramis Ramirez, and Marlon Byrd. 2-0 on Lee. Called strike 2-1. The only hit for the Cubs was a single by Soriano back in the second. Only other base runner was a leadoff walk to Starlin Castro in the third. So the Cubs have had 2 base runners against Wood. 3-1. Second round pick in 2005. Fly ball right center. Through Stubbs, 1 out. Well, we want to send out a special happy birthday wish to Chuck Wendling, turning 90 years old. Enjoying Cubs baseball here at Wrigley Field today.
So I have another one here from Patricia Cook in Indianapolis, Indiana. Wants us to congratulate her grandson Benjamin, who was the valedictorian of his senior class at Keene High School in New Hampshire. Big Cub fans.
Ramirez is single into center. Tying run is on base. 6-game hitting streak for Ramirez.
One of those cutters that just didn't get far enough in for the youngster, and Ramirez makes him pay, lining a clean single back up the middle of the field.
Looking at Travis Wood's bio, it says he was signed when he was taken in the second round of the 05 draft by Mike Keenan. I thought he was a hockey guy.
I did too. Moonlighting.
Maybe Mike Keenan was scouting hockey players in Arkansas. He found Travis Wood. Called the Reds, said, you need to get this guy. Stubbs retires Bird. Here's the dilemma. Cubs are jumping on the first pitch a lot and making outs, but he's throwing strikes. So how patient do you want to be?
Well, as long as it's a strike you want to hit. And if he throws a fastball at the knees on the outside corner, just because it's a strike doesn't mean it's a desirable pitch to swing at for the first pitch you see in a sequence. I mean, to his credit, he has thrown a lot of strikes. He has gotten ahead of a lot of counts. I still think if you force him to throw a few more pitches, you give him more opportunities to make mistakes.
Soriano high to center. Stubbs again. All 4 balls in this inning were hit to center. A 9-pitch inning. Man, has he been efficient today. Off to the 8th. 1-0 Cincinnati. Now you can visit Cubs.com, click on the CBOE Front Row Seats auction to bid on tickets in the front row behind home plate and along the first base line. Front row seats will be auctioned off to every game all season long. Don't miss your chance. Go to Cubs.com. That's a fair ball for Cabrera. It'll be a double. Check out the CBOE front row seats auction today.
Cabrera's always been a pretty good high ball hitter. He tomahawks this one down the left field line. Really gets that top hand through there. Keeps it fair down the left field line for a leadoff double. Speaking of double-barreled action for the Cubs down in the bullpen, as Silva has cracked the 100-pitch mark in this ball game. 5 times he's pitched 7 innings in a ball game this year, but usually 5 or 6 is about the best you can expect from Carlos Silva. So Bob Howery and James Russell both getting ready here in the 8th.
Well, 8 will be the max today because his spot due a third in the bottom of this inning. The most he had gone prior to today was 7 right on the button. Well, this could be his longest start of the season if he can record an out. Votto pops it up. And still carrying as Soriano will make the catch as he bangs against the wall. That allows Cabrera to tag and get to third. I wouldn't say the wind has shifted dramatically. However, it is now blowing a little more right to left. So it actually helped that fly ball by Votto.
Now, Soriano went to the spot where he thought that ball was going to come down based on what he's seen through the first 7 innings of this ball game, and it just continued to carry right back against the vines. He's able to make the catch, but alert base running by Cabrera. He kind of read the play, decided to go back and tag up, and when Soriano crashed into the wall out there, he was able to advance on to third base.
And the looks like the Cubs just appealed to see if Cabrera left early, and he did not. So the infield has to come in against a guy with 54 RBIs. And the only RBI to date in this one. Colvin went back. Now he comes in. And Cabrera is going to go about a third of the way up the line. And Colvin fired a strike to Soto. 2 outs in the inning.
Say, Len, I like to see that throw. Normally you want to keep that throw low enough so you can cut it off if necessary, but with no other runners on base, the only one you're concerned with is that guy at third. So Tyler Colvin aired it out, threw it all the way to home plate in the air to make sure Giovanni Soto didn't have a bad hop to deal with.
Johnny Gomes hitting over 400 with runners in scoring position. But 0 for 2 in that spot today. Castro can't get it. And the Reds lead 2-0. And Lou's coming out.
No question this ball was stung by Johnny Gomes. A hard ground ball just about a step to Castro's left. And he played it off to the side like a bullfighter. With a runner at third base and 2 outs an inning, you've got to get in front of that ball and knock it down.
Silva was a little frustrated. And still is. As he will exit down 2-0. Was a hit for Gomes to knock in the run. And lefty James Russell coming in. The Lexus pursuing perfection call to the pen. We'll be back in the 8th. As a Cub for Carlos Silva, very frustrated as he just kind of slammed the Gatorade into his face.
Well, frustration will make guys do some funny things, and Carlos Silva has pitched tremendous baseball from day one this season with a lot of frustrations along the way.
So James Russell, with his first appearance in the big leagues since June 11th, he was recalled prior to the game Tuesday night, replacing essentially John Grayboll, who went to the disabled list with the knee injury. 1 strike on Jay Bruce. 5 outings at Iowa for Russell. Gave up 7 earned runs in 11 innings. Got off to a good start this season with the Cubs. But gave up 4 runs against the White Sox before he got sent out. 0-2. The 11 hits allowed by Silva, a season high, had given up 10 against the Reds on May 7th. But it will be a quality start. I think this is very telling, Bob. With a quality start stat, when the Reds have gotten a quality start, they have 41 of them and probably 42 today. They're 31-10. Means they win 3 out of every 4 quality starts they get. The Cubs are 27-22, so they have 8 more quality starts than the Reds do, but they have a lot more losses and fewer wins. You got to win more games when you get quality starting pitching.
Absolutely. A lot of people think that's kind of a diluted stat, the quality start, but the numbers would bear it out over the course of a season. You get a quality start, you got a much better chance to win the ball game.
Look here, the team with the best record in baseball, Texas and the Yankees. Okay, their winning percentage is .610. Over the course of however many years, I've looked it up a few times, when you get a quality start, you win about 68-69% of the game. So, I mean, that's all you need to know. If you're going to win about 7 out of every 10 games, you get a quality start. It's a good stat. But that has not been the case for the Cubs, which speaks to the offensive issues they've had. All right. Little guy's got it. Double batting gloves, the whole deal, and he's got the ball.
Very cool.
Love to see that. Swing and a miss. Russell fans Bruce. But the Reds tack on. Only 6 outs left to work with. Trailing 2-0. Gail, thanks. Travis Wood is 6 outs away from a complete game shutout in his major league debut. Now look at this. The major league average in 2010, 16.5 pitches per inning. That's every pitcher in baseball. Wood averaging 5 pitches fewer per inning today. That's how good he's been. In fact, he's thrown 16 pitches or more only 2 times today. The 1-0 to Soto is off the corner outside, and even though he's just gotten to the 80 pitch mark, Dusty's not going to take any chances in a tight game. He has Nick Massett up in their bullpen. And it's 3-0 on Soto. Three and one. And as you know, Bob, baseball, like everything else in life, is not black or white. There's a lot of shades of gray. I think you give a lot of credit to Wood, and you have an offense here that has been terribly inconsistent.
It makes you wonder if Wood would have pitched the same ball game against an offense that was firing on all cylinders. I mean, occasionally you bump up against a team that has not been playing well, not been swinging the bats well the way the Cubs have been recently, and you go out there and you're very aggressive and you attack that strike zone, and you basically don't respect the bats in that opposing lineup. You're facing a team that's swinging the bats well, and you're a little concerned about some of the hitters in that lineup. Maybe you start to nibble around a little bit. Maybe you question your own stuff a little bit, but Wood has been pitching with the ultimate confidence here this afternoon.
Castro the batter. Not a bunting spot here with a team down 2. And now Xavier Nady has jumped into the on-deck circle for Russell. So we'll see another Cub reliever in the 9th.
For the first time today, Wood struggling to find that zone a little bit. Fell behind Soto 3-0. Now falls behind the number 8 hitter Starlin Castro 2-0.
Most he's gone this season in the minor leagues is 8 innings. Missed again. He's gone 3-0 on the first 2 batters of the 8th inning. See, Dusty has his lineup card in the dugout. If Wood doesn't get Castro, that's going to be it. And with a pitcher spot due up 3rd in the 9th, he'll make a double switch, it looks like. Pitcher strike 3-2. Short lead by Soto. The pitch. Ball 4. The first 2 have gotten on.
Let's take a look at our Home Depot doing more on defense. Second batter of the game, Orlando Cabrera. Hot shot to the backhand of Starlin Castro, who made a nice play. Got it quickly across the diamond for the out.
Dusty waited until Xavier Nady was officially announced.
He usually switches out Johnny Gomes in left field for defense late in the ball game when he has a lead. And it looks like Gomes is heading in as Lance Nix, it appears, is going to take over in left field. And Nick Massett on the mound.
So that'll be it for Travis Wood. Nick Massett coming in. Lex is pursuing perfection. Call to the pen. We're in the 8th. The Cubs have the tying runs on base, and we'll be right back. Coming into play left, and Bassett will take over on the mound. Pretty high ERA. Got a lot better against lefties than righties.
Kosuke Fukudome will now pinch hit for the announced pinch hitter, Xavier Nady. Fukudome 0 for 7 lifetime as Terrio takes over as a pinch runner for Soto at second base.
Nady burned, and it'll be Fukudome with 2 on and nobody out. Squared to bunt and pulled it back for ball 1. Like in years past, Kosuke's monthly batting average has gone downhill since he hit .344 in April. It was at .253 in May, and now .189 in June. So starting July, hoping to change up things as he bunts it foul.
Fukudome normally the best bunter on this Cubs team. He occasionally will try to bunt for a base hit, asked to put down a sacrifice in this situation, and bumped up that first attempt.
It's down the bunt. Massett's going to fire in time with Votto covering. Well, that was not really a righty-lefty move as much as getting a guy in who could lay down a bunt.
And he does so perfectly. Took a great play by Massett to get him at first base. Deadens that ball nicely to the third base side of the field.
Bob, you and I know Lou pretty well. I think normally the team was going well. He would not have bunted in that spot. I think he would have taken his chances with 2 on, nobody out, even down 2-0 late to swing away and get those guys in. But this hasn't happened here lately. Got shut out yesterday. They're down 2-0 again today. So wanted to get 2 guys in a scoring position, and hopefully somebody can come up with a big hit. Foul. Over the course of Massett's career, the lefty-righty splits have been fairly even, but pretty drastic this year. A lot better against lefties than righties.
Being a late inning relief pitcher, a lot of times when Dusty goes to the right-hander Massett, the opposing team is going to make the corresponding change at the plate.
A strike, big swing pitch as always on the 1-1. Now it's 1-2.
Good opportunity here for Colvin. Even with the 2-strike count, the Reds infield playing back all the way around, conceding a ground ball out for a run, trying to avoid the big inning, or anything lifted in the air to the outfield should play to run.
Terrio, the pinch runner at third. Castro behind him at second, sliced out of play. I guess the silver lining here, the Cubs have 2 hits all day, yet they're within possibly 1 hit of tying it up. There's a hit into right, gonna tie it up. Throw's gonna come to the plate. It's gonna be late. 2-2. Tyler Colvin knocks in a couple, and we're back to even. Cubs have been out hit 11-3, but they're now tied where it counts.
Boy, he got a sinker right in the middle of the plate, lined it through that hole on the right side of the infield. A great jump at second by Starlin Castro. He's able to score really without a play at second base, or rather at home. And Tyler Colvin fired up. Good at bat right there.
Now a chance to grab the lead and get the ball to Carlos Marmol in the ninth. Mike Fontenot will hit for Jeff Baker. Tough no decision for Travis Wood. Those runs charged to him. And the pitch to Fontenot. That bounced up there. Good block by Miller. Soto taken out. We'll see Coy Hill behind the plate in the ninth. Jeff Baker removed, and we will have a couple of options, Terrio or Fontenot.
But one option he does not have now is any available players off the bench. In the course of 4 hitters here in the 8th inning, we've exhausted all 5 bench players.
So the Cubs make the Reds pay for those 2 walks to start the inning. Kick the 1-1 off the plate inside. Tyler Colvin coming through with his first hit of the homestand. A 2-run single. Ground ball. Base hit. Colvin had to make sure it got through. They're at the corners for Derek. Go ahead run now at third with only 1 out.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tyler Colvin had to see that ball through. He knew Cabrera was playing right behind him. Cabrera has great range at shortstop, but Tyler had to hold after his secondary lead at second base to make sure that ball got through into the outfield. He's only able to advance as far as third base, but the Cubs have him on the corners for D. Lee with 1 out.
That's the pitching coach, Brian Price, chatting with Massett. And nobody warming up in the Reds pen. It's going to be Carlos Marmol in the ninth either way for the Cubs.
Visit the official online shop of the Chicago Cubs at Cubs.com. Browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, nostalgic memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. Get your gear from the official source, the Cubs.com shop. Accept no substitutes.
Reds set up in double play depth, pretty deep in the outfield as Derek Lee steps in. Low and away on a fastball. Called strike. Good numbers for Lee against Massett. He's also added a couple of walks. So he's gotten on 6 times out of 10 plate appearances. And the 1-1. That got a good piece of the home plate umpire, Jeff Kellogg, 1-2. kick and the pitch. Another foul. 97 that time.
97 and up in the zone, which is something Derek Lee's looking for right here. You want to keep the ball off the ground if at all possible. Try to lift it in the air to the outfield. And if you're trying to do that as a hitter, you look for pitches up above the belt. Naturally elevated pitches, just lift them in the air to the outfield.
That's a sign from his catcher, Miller. And another 1-2. Another foul. So throwing harder that time at 98. Right-hander Jordan Smith up in their bullpen. Their closer's Francisco Cordero. Able to hold up on a slider, 2-2. Ramirez on deck. He's 5 for 13 against Bassett. His hands are going to try to turn 2. They get 1. They get 2. That keeps the game tied. A 5-4-3 double play as Derek slammed his helmet after making the final 2 outs of the 8th. But they do tie it on the Colvin 2-run single. We'll go to the 9th. Tied. Will catch. The assumption would be he'll hit 9th, and Marmol will go into Fontenot's spot after Mike pinch hit for Jeff Baker.
Massive, an elevated fastball, unfortunately right in on the hands of Derek Lee. Broke his bat, hit the grounder to Scott Rowland at third. A nice job by Brandon Phillips to hang in there at second base as Mike Fontenot went into him hard.
Watch the swing, Bob. He got jammed, and as a hitter, you get jammed. It takes a little longer to get out of that box.
Yeah, it kind of pushes you backwards out of that right-handed batter's box. You don't have the same momentum leaning forward as you make contact. You're actually leaning backwards a little bit.
So Stubbs facing the closer Marmol, trying to save a tie. Slider strike. Quickly 0-2. And a base hit. Drew Stubbs now 2 for 3 against Carlos Marmol. Cubs Destinations, a preferred baseball road trip provider of the team, provides fans with the most unique VIP road trip experience available. Each package includes great tickets, first-class hotel accommodations, a tour of the ballpark, and a private meet and greet with a current Cubs player. For more information, visit Cubs.com.
Most likely see a sacrifice bunt attempt here from the catcher Corky Miller. He's put down 1 sack this year.
Not an easy guy to bunt against with all that late movement.
I mean, of the 2 pitches that Marmol features, that mid to upper 90s fastball and the hard, nasty slider. The slider is probably the easier of the 2 pitches to bunt on the ground because of the downward movement. More likely that the hitter's going to get on top of that pitch.
Another pop up. Coy Hill will catch it.
Conventional baseball wisdom is, in an obvious sacrifice bunt situation, the best pitch to throw is a high fastball. It's the toughest one for a batter to get down onto the ground. Marmol comes with the fastball. Miller stabbed at it and popped it up right behind home plate for Coy Hill.
Lance Nix came into play left in the 8th. He was first at bat. Check on Stubbs, who has 16 stolen bases. Nick's basically treating this like a pinch hit at bat. He leads their team in hits and at bats off the bench. The leadoff single allowed by Marmol. Just the 19th hit, and now 36 innings of work. It is almost unheard of. About a half a hit per inning.
Especially the guy that got the base hit. Drew Stubbs has punched out 84 times this season in around 260 at bats, and Carlos Marmol is the most prolific strikeout reliever in Major League Baseball. Go figure.
There he goes. Ground ball off the glove of Terrio. And moving to third will be Drew Stubbs. In this game of inches, the Reds win that battle. And they have him at the corners with 1 out.
You can see where Terrio is positioned a little bit closer to the bag at second. Just comes up about an inch short with that diving attempt. Stubbs was on the move, as Len mentioned. He's got great speed, 16 stolen bases on the year. He's easily able to go first to third on that grounder into right.
And he was able to do that because he picked up his third base coach, Mark Berry. Point that out because some runners don't. Try to find the ball and they get all locked up, slow themselves down. Inside to Brandon Phillips. Well, let's see if Marmol can get a double play ball like Massett did against Derek Lee to end the 8th. Joining Smith is Cordero in case the Reds get the lead. Actually, more likely than the double play ball would be a couple of strikeouts.
Brandon Phillips, for all his speed, he's very slow getting out of that right-handed batter's box. He's got great speed once he gets on base. He's not so quick out of the batter's box.
point out the wind, not nearly the same factor it was when we started the game. It's blowing in from right, but more right to left and not nearly as hard. Slider strike 2, 3-2.
It's his go-to pitch whenever he's in trouble, and certainly with runners at the corners, 1 out. Brandon Phillips at the plate, a 3-1 count. He's in trouble. When he went to his bread and butter pitch, was able to spot it on that outside corner.
Ball 4 to load him up. Nix was on the move with the pitch from first. So 2 hits and a walk. And it'll be Orlando Cabrera with Larry Rothschild coming to the mound before that happens. Carlos had that bad outing on Sunday and was able to just hang on in a non-save spot. He came back on Monday, gave up the game-winning RBI double to Jose Tabata. Tuesday night, a quick 1-2-3 ninth, including 2 strikeouts. It appeared as though he had gotten back on track, but been a little bit of a struggle so far in this one. And it'll get a little tougher here to keep this game tied. Slider strike. One little thing I noticed, Bob, Coy Hill gave about 4 or 5 signs, but Marmol went to the set position after he saw the first one.
What's that tell you?
I'm not that smart. Fouled back, 0-2.
And all you ask as a catcher is for your pitcher to wait till you're done giving the signs. At least give the illusion to that runner at second that you're looking at all the signs rather than just the first one.
McCoy was asking, you want something up? Yep. Fastball. And Cabrera asking for time. It was down 1-2. Way inside on a slider that got away. 2-2.
You see where Hill sets up. He wants that slider off the outside corner, and Marmol just overthrew it. It never really took the break.
Boy, if Cabrera took a little more time to get out of the way, that ball would have hit his jersey. The Reds would have the lead. 3-2. The pitch, swing and a miss. Boy, he got him to chase a bad one. That would have been ball 4 and would have been a 3-2 Cincinnati lead, but Marmol got him.
That ball was never in the strike zone. That's Cabrera's first at bat against Carlos Marmol in their respective careers, and I'm guessing he wasn't thinking slider on that 3-2 pitch.
Doesn't get any easier. Joey Votto. There are 2 outs. Infielders can move back. Low, ball 1. Votto much more patient.
And he has seen Carlos Marmol 5 times before. He's 1 for 5. The one hit was a home run. He has struck out twice.
Ground ball foul. I don't know, Bob, if you're Orlando Cabrera, if you want to see the video of that pitch or not. It might do more harm than good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Negative reinforcement.
Wow. The kick, the 1-1. 2-1. The body language sometimes it's interesting. Joey Votto looks very comfortable against a very uncomfortable pitcher. Not on that swing. 2-2. I spoke too soon.
We'll say it again. One of the more awkward swings you'll ever see Joey Votto take. Yeah, he looks comfortable. You can just tell by his body language.
3-2. Everybody will be on the move. Well, he can't throw that same pitch he threw to Cabrera and expect Votto to swing at it. He's got to be at least near the plate or give the illusion of a strike. 3 consecutive full counts in this inning.
He's going to throw a slider.
Here it is. Struck him out to end the threat. 2 hits and a walk to load him up, but then he fanned Cabrera and Votto. We'll get to the bottom of the ninth, still tied. You can get an answer live on air. Don't miss Sylvania Cubs post-game live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Rookie right-hander Jordan Smith trying to get this game into extras. Just his 7th career appearance in his Wrigley Field debut. So 2 of the 3 pitchers for the Reds today for their first Wrigley experience. And Ramos Ramirez will lead it off. Boy, 2 major jams the last 2 half innings. First and third, 1 out for the Cubs. Double play ball got Massett out of it as Ramirez pops it up over near third, and it's Scott Rowland. And then bases loaded, 1 out, and Carlos Marmol escaped in the Reds' 9th. Bob, Orlando Cabrera just kicking the dirt out of his shortstop position. I think he still has that 3-2 pitch on his mind.
We talk all the time about not taking your offense out to the field when you take your defensive position, and it's pretty apparent Cabrera is still upset about that at bat.
Bird is 0 for 3, and he takes a strike.
Something he doesn't like to do. Rarely takes a first pitch strike, but because Ramirez made an out on the first pitch he saw, Marlon Byrd felt he had to take a pitch right there just to make sure Jordan Smith doesn't have a quick inning.
Hooked into the left field corner, but to the seats out of play. June 21st, Jordan Smith got his first career save in just his 4th appearance. Brought up from Double-A Carolina on June 15th. So he skipped at Triple-A. I guess like somebody whose car never breaks down, he didn't need Triple-A either. Ground ball foul.
Oh, never mind.
The kick, the 1-2 pitch, ground ball to Cabrera. Now the Felco upcoming schedule after this weekend, a 7-game trip to Arizona and Los Angeles. That'll take the Cubs into the break. All right, you ready for this, Bob? As Soriano steps in. If he hits a home run here, we don't have to worry about it. The Reds have won their last 8 extra inning games on the road, going back to June of last year. That ties a club record. Oh, 0-1 to Soriano. Again, a deep drive to left is not going to be hurt by the wind. In fact, it may be helped just a little bit at the moment. Might not get another fastball in this at bat. 1-2.
If he does, it'll be elevated up above the letters. They've tried to throw up there a couple of times against Soriano today, but the pitch always stays somewhere near the strike zone. I believe they're going to come right back with that slider low and away. It was a fastball, and he made sure to keep it far enough off the plate that Soriano couldn't get a swing at it. Now maybe the slider in that same location. Just able to get a piece of that. Good defensive swing that time. Borderline slider, too close to take, not really good enough to hit. Fouled it out of play. He'll get at least one more pitch here.
2-2, a swing and a miss. We head off 2 extras in a 2-2 tie.
It'll be Bob Howery taking over for Carlos Marmol on the bump. Be working through the middle of the Reds lineup. Scott Rowland, a pinch hitter, and Jay Bruce. We'll look at the numbers for Bob Howery this season. He's been much better in his second go-round with the Cubs. Throwing a lot more sliders, a lot more straight change-ups.
So he faces Scott Rowland as we start the 10th. Strike one. The deeper this one goes, as you said, Bob, the Cubs pretty much use their whole bench in the 8th inning. Ooh, big hop to Castro. And the throw just in time. Good adjustment.
Can't teach it. That's just good natural instincts there. That ball hit something out in front of Starlin Castro, who took a horrible bad hop, but able to go up above his head, make the play, and throw on in time to get rolling at first base.
Former Cub Miguel Cairo will hit for Smith. One ball, no strikes. Bird won't be able to get it until it hits the turf. Lays it on one hop. Cairo's on. And now Jay Bruce, and Lou's going to come out and probably bring in Sean Marshall, who is ready in the pen. So the Lexus pursuing perfection call to the pen will bring on 6'7" lefty Sean Marshall to face Jay Bruce. Game of the season. He's been extremely valuable. And he'll face Jay Bruce, who's going to get a healthy dose of curveballs here. Double his first at bat, 0 for 3 since. Miguel Cairo, the runner at first. The Cubs in double play depth around the infield. in on the hands, fouled back. Colvin just able to knock it down. He had to be conservative there because if it gets by him, Cairo scores.
It looked like he really wanted to come in and try to make either a diving or a shoestring catch. But as you said, if that ball gets by him, Cairo scores. Cairo had a great read off of first base. He saw that sinking line drive and took off almost immediately for second base. You'll see him take his lead. Sees that ball, he guesses it's going to be down and easily turns the corner and goes on to third base.
Well, another tight spot for a Cubs reliever as they have runners at first and third with one out. It's Drew Stubbs. You mentioned the strikeouts. This will be a good time for it as the Cubs have to bring their middle guys in a little bit. Ramirez all the way in, edge of the grass. Lee holding on the runner at first. And ball one on a breaker. Cubs have been out hit today 15-4. Yep, we're in a tie game in extras. Kind of reminds you of that game in Seattle last Thursday. Cubs got out hit 11-6 but won 3-2 in 13. One and two.
Throw it again, that big curveball. Breaking pitches have given Drew Stubbs a lot of trouble this year. He can hit a fastball. He really struggles with the breaking pitches. This should be a pickoff attempt at first. Bruce with 5 stolen bases on the season in 7 attempts. Doesn't figure to be running in this situation because the hitter at the plate is such a strikeout candidate.
Final in New York, the Yankees beat the Mariners 4-2. CC Sabathia 8 innings to get his 10th win, and Rivera saved it. David Aardsma took the loss. A-Rod with a game-winning 2-run homer. Ground ball, can they turn it? They get one. Relay is not going to be made. The out is recorded at second, but the big point here is that Cairo scores. It's 3-2. Wasn't really able to eyeball Stubbs going down the line. Bob, do you think they would have had a shot at a double play?
I don't know. I was watching the play up the middle myself. Stubbs runs extremely well. That's the only thing that makes me think the Cubs might not have been able to turn that anyway, but it all becomes a moot point when Starlin Castro loses the handle on the ball. Hard slide into second base by Jay Bruce. Not so sure he would have been able to reach the bag there at second. Really went wide to disrupt Starlin Castro's relay throw to first.
And that's significant because when you are sliding, you have to have the ability to touch the bag.
Touch the bag with either your foot or your hand. Some body part has to be within reach of the base. You don't have to necessarily touch the base. You just have to be within reach of the base.
They pitch out, and Stubbs is not running.
Look at that slide at second base. Jay Bruce going after Starlin Castro. It's It's hard to picture in your mind if he extended his left arm, would he have been able to touch the base? I don't know. Didn't look like it to me.
So it'll be Coco Cordero in the bottom of the 10th. We know that for sure. Dusty was simply waiting until his team got the lead before he would commit to his closer. Bouncer up the middle. Base hit. Stubbs will make third.
Ain't much, but it'll work for Corky Miller. Just a little bouncer back up the middle of the field. Castro was shading over in the hole between third and short. Can't quite get there. There's that speed from Stubbs that we talked about.
Nix will be taken down for a pinch hitter. Righty, Chris Heisey. The run charge to Bob Howery, who gave up the hit to Cairo. And it's outside on a curveball. 1-0 on Heisey, who's making his Wrigley debut.
He was the Reds minor league player of the year last year. Hit 347 in Double-A, was called up to Triple-A where he hit 278, combined for 22 home runs and 77 RBI.
He's hit for some power, 4 home runs. And 7 extra base hits and 63 plate appearances. Look at that. 3 home runs in the pinch. It's tied for the major league lead. Ross Glode of the Phillies also with 3 pinch hit home runs, which may mean he could have the green light here on a 3-0 with no wind at the moment. Way outside, ball 4. And Lou coming back out with Stevens ready in the bullpen. Stevens coming in to face Brandon Phillips. The Lexus pursuing perfection. Call to the pen. We'll be back. 3-2 Reds. For him, Brandon Phillips was acquired by the Reds from Cleveland for cash or a player to be named later. That player to be named later was Jeff Stevens in 2006. Charged by Terrio, and Stevens throws one pitch and gets out of the inning. They do get the lead, however. It's 3-2 Reds to the bottom of the 10th. Nix and Francisco Cordero trying to get his 22nd save. See what lefties have done versus righties. Well, 2 righties and then a switch hitter, and there are no options for pinch hitting. As Terrio looks at a strike, so he and Castro and Hill will take the at bat. The Cubs get a couple of guys on. Jeff Stevens' spot could potentially come up here in the 10th. And we were talking during the break about what Lou might do. He probably wouldn't use Ted Lilly or Ryan Dempster. Possibly Randy Wells, since he's a former position player. But they might be asking Jeff Stevens, how good a hitter are you? We haven't gotten to that point yet, but it could happen here in the 10th.
It's back to that situation we've talked about many times as a manager. Sometimes you're presented with options, and sometimes none of them are good.
Yeah, again, I don't have a problem with what Lou did in that 8th inning. He emptied his pockets and put all of his money on the table, and the Cubs were able to tie the game as Terrio grounds out. So if he didn't make the moves he did, we might not be sitting here in the 10th.
You bring up a good point. The only one I really questioned even a little bit was sending up Xavier Nady as the pinch hitter and then pulling him back for Kosuke Fukudome to bunt. If you know you're going to bunt with Fukudome, why not go ahead and send him up there anyway?
Or maybe use a Ryan Dempster in that spot. You're right. Kosuke did lay down the sac bunt. Through the hole, base hit. So Castro is aboard. He's been on 3 times, 2 walks and a single.
Pitch on the inside part of the plate. That's where Castro likes it. Miller was set up on the outside corner. Cordero missed his spot all the way across the plate, and youngster made him pay with a hard ground ball through that left side for a base hit.
He showed bunt, but took ball 1. 2 hits on Tuesday, 0 for 3 yesterday. Two and 0. I don't think he had any intention of bunting.
No, I think he had a thought about maybe bunting for a base hit, but in effect what it did was force Scott Rowland to come in from his position, play even with the baseline down there at third. Well, that enhances your chances of possibly knocking a ball past him into left field.
3-0. Colvin on deck. He tied it with the single in the 8th. Ball 4. First and second, 1 out. Tyler Colvin at the plate. And that scenario we painted earlier could actually happen. And Tom Gorzolani is on deck for Jeff Stevens. Outside, 1-1.
Gorzolani 3 for 18 as a hitter on the season. That's a 167 batting average. Does have a couple of RBI.
Curious to know how much lobbying went on in the dugout among the starting pitchers who didn't work today. Caught the outside corner at 97, 1-2. So, Bob, in essence, this becomes an even bigger at bat for the Cubs.
Oh, absolutely.
Merrill dangles that right arm as he gets the sign. Ground ball to short. They get 1. They get 2, and that ends the game. A double play, and the Reds take game 1 in 10 innings, 3-2. Colvin didn't like that call by the first base umpire, Mark Carlson. A bang-bang play.
Well, we know Tyler Colvin runs pretty well. Good pivot at second base by Brandon Phillips. Unleashed a strong throw on to Joey Votto.
Safe. Man.
Very close, but it looked like he did beat it by the narrowest of margins.
From Shutter Cam seemed to confirm that Colvin got in there. At any rate, Cubs come up short. They're 1-3 on the homestand, a season worst, 11 games under 500, and because they lost to the first place